Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Today we have in this interview at Spill the Sea a great professional Pokemon TCG competitor. Today we are with Rahul Reddy. Hello, Rahul. We are delighted to have you here and very enthusiastic that you can share with us sometime something about your experience in Pokemon. So, hello, Rahul. Can you say something about you to our viewers?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on here. It's awesome to be here. Thank you for all the support in general, and I'm happy to be talking about my experiences.
Okay. So we asked some questions for our followers, and we have 9 to share today. Okay, let's talk about your deck list. So, why Lugia? I was following your first cups of the season, and I thought that you was with Gardy. So, why Lugia and why without minccinos?
So coming into Worlds, I thought Regidrago is clearly the best deck, and people are going to try to beat it. But a lot of the decks like kind of just lose to Lugia if it sets up. And I don't think you need Minccino unless you're really scared of Snorlax. So I played a really thin line. But besides that, I felt like Lugia is the best deck if it sets up. And also if you dodge the lightning decks, of course. But I didn't really expect a lot of Miraidon or Iron Thorns. So if you hit those matchups, you just kind of lose.
Yeah.
So hopefully I was hoping maybe I hit 1, 2, if that. But luckily I didn't actually see more than one lightning deck.
Yeah, because in your list, you doesn't have Flutter Mane.
Yes. I just decided that if I hit Thorns, I lose. Because I tried a couple of games, like 2 or 3. And if you can even get to the Flutter Mane, it's pretty hard. Like it's really hard because they have hammers, they're doing everything. You can't use Luminion. Lugia's hand has to be really, really, really good to play the game. So I just said, why not? I'm just going to take the loss here.
And Lugia is known as a coin flip, isn't it?
I felt like a lot of my matchups definitely felt like one wrong coin flip or something could go wrong and I probably lose. So it was, I knew the fate, I guess I was accepting, kind of taking a little bit of a higher luck deck to offset the skill.
Yeah, okay. So how were your matches in day 1?
Actually, it felt pretty good. I think most of my matches were Drago across the board. And every Drago in day 1 I ended up beating. I went in at 6-2 into day 2. So my 2 losses were actually to an American player who was playing Charizard. And in the first round, it was round 1, I bricked one of the games. And then game 3, I prized Wordier and a couple of energies. So on a turn where I could go Wordier and like not set up checkmate, but like put myself in a good position to go 2-2-2, I couldn't go 2-2-2. So that kind of lost me the game because I had to attack into Charizard and they were able to boss and go ahead on the trade. And then the third round I played against a Chilean player and they were playing Lost Box with like Turbo Lost Box.
Okay, with Charizard or with Iron Thorns?
They were playing like the Thorns, Hands, like that kind of list.
Okay. So like the Nike.
Yeah, pretty bad for me. And they were able to get into the Iron Hands early, both games. And I just couldn't really do anything. Like I think they got Iron Hands turn 1 on like my Squawk ability, and I was like, oh, I just lose. I just can't win this. So, but the rest of the games were pretty straightforward. I beat a couple of Dragos. I beat 1 Roaring Moon deck. And I beat a Banette deck. And the Banette deck, I think, was one of the coolest decks I saw. But I think it has a really bad Lugia matchup because as soon as I use Summoning Star, like they can't really do anything. So that was my day 1.
Yeah, okay. And then, so you managed 18 points.
Yes.
Or more.
18. Just exactly 18.
18, exactly. So, and then in day 2, how were your matches?
So day 2 going in, I didn't really expect anything because coming in at 18 match points, you're like, well, I have to win all of them for anything to happen. I hit a Drago, a Moon, a Bolt, and the Bolt like very bricked against me really bad. Like that game was really weird where one of the games I didn't V-star and he didn't attack. So we were both just sitting there and I was going like attach, attack. And so we both just didn't do anything for like 6 or 7 turns.
Really?
So it was crazy. Like he didn't even find a single energy to use Burst Roar. Like he opened the Bolt and I didn't find like Ultra Ball or anything. Like I was just sitting there and I was like, I'm gonna just keep attaching to Lugia and see where we go.
Yeah.
So I got pretty lucky in that one. And then on stream, I played against Zach Lesage in the last round, who was playing Drago. And then in my top 9 game, I hit Drago as well, where that's my first Drago loss the whole tournament.
Oh, okay. So I thought you played with a Peruvian player, Diego Barea, I think.
Oh, yes, I did. Yes, in day
Yeah,
one, he was playing the
Running Moon, I think.
Rolling Moon. Yes.
Yeah. So okay.
That matchup was super close. Actually, it was the first game his deck just bricked, so I didn't really know what was in it.
Yeah.
But the second game, I remember it was like a really close back and forth, and Diego ended up missing a boss on one turn, so he had to take a 1 prize knockout, and he went to 3 prizes. I had 4, and I had Pheasantipity and a bunch of stuff, so I was able to just go 2-2 to end the game. But if he hit the boss on that turn, we were going to a game 3. It was close. His deck was really cool. I told him afterwards, I was like, this is actually a really cool deck. I was pretty scared in the matchup.
Yeah, because it's a very turbo deck too.
Yes, it was very fast. He played an Enhanced Hammer also, which some of the other moons didn't play. So with Enhanced Hammer, he could get around my Mist energy. And I only played 1. I only played 1 Mist. So that makes his big moon pretty scary.
Yeah. So we've seen other improvement in the Pokemon Wars, and that's the top 8 asymmetrical. How was it?
I was actually pretty grateful because I was thinking, I mean, in the moment, obviously losing the game was pretty frustrating. It sucked, whatever, right? I bricked. But I thought about it after, and every other year, if I get 9th, I'm just 9th, right? Like I don't get a chance. My tournament's over. I would probably be more upset that I got 9th on resistance. But I was at least given a chance to play. And I think if Jesse or Isaiah had lost their games, we would have had more games play out. But I think Jesse and Isaiah both won their games, so it made it to only a top 9. But I think we could have had a top 11 potentially. Yeah. So I think it's a cool change. I think especially for something like a Worlds or an IC, you kind of want there to be like no questions about who's the winner, right? Like you want to make sure like everyone gets a chance that got to that record. So I think it's a really cool change for the integrity of the tournament.
Yeah, and that's an improvement for the IDs.
Yes, yeah, because I think less people at Worlds were IDing even. I think more people were playing because of the asymmetric cut, because it was a little bit weirder to tell when you could be safe and when you weren't safe. So I think more people did, and more people use like gentlemen's and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's great. So, what's your opinion about Ian Robb match loss?
I wasn't in the venue. Oh, I was actually sitting watching the other top 8 games when I heard about it, and I thought it was crazy. But
did you see the play or not? The match?
I had just finished my match, so I was sitting backstage.
Okay.
But I heard about it and I watched the stream after. Obviously, I think it sucks for Ian. I think it's really unfortunate, but I do think he did break the rules. Because when we went on stream, I guess a little bit of the behind the scenes. When we go on stream, they had a nice lady come out and talk to us for a few minutes about what we can do, what we can't do. They tell us specifically like not to do anything inappropriate, say any curse words or anything of that nature, because people are watching. It's a bit big about the production. So I think given that it's in Pokemon's line and rules, I think the match loss makes sense. I think it's also cool that they did it in a way where top 4 still got 2 games, and Fernando ended up we went on to win the whole tournament. So like, I can't even imagine what it was like for him experiencing all those emotions.
Yeah, and it's very difficult because when you sign to the Worlds, I think, and to other regional or that, you approve the Pokemon rules.
Yeah, exactly. Like once you're there, like I think the biggest thing to remember is that Pokemon is probably the biggest brand that's kid friendly.
Yeah.
So even at the end of the day, they really care about their production. They like the tournament is all one big part of their marketing team, right? So like all of this is to make the Pokemon image look better. So at the end of the day, if you do something that violates that, it's hard to like justify not giving him a penalty.
Okay. So I saw a picture of you and Jon and Isaiah.
Yeah.
So it is like the Royal 3. So what is the Royal 3 and how did you meet?
So these 2 guys are like very good friends of mine.
Okay.
It's weird for me because I watched them grow up. Because Jon and I actually grew up in the same area. Like he lives like 30 minutes from me. We went to the same locals when we were younger. We both came.
You went to the same college too, or not?
No. He's much younger than me.
Okay.
They call me grandpa sometimes. So he is when we both started in like 2011 timeframe, and so I kind of watched him grow up. He's So I've known him since he was like 9 years old. I'm 6 years older than him, which is crazy to think about also. But we've stayed friends. Probably before COVID and stuff, we didn't talk that much besides like locals. But during COVID, I think everyone kind of broke down their barriers and just started talking more, being more friendly. And so over that time, I talked to Jon a lot more. We became a lot closer. And once COVID ended, we came back and, we just decided, let's team up. Let's see what happens. And I thought Isaiah was always like a bright, like, I think he's got a crazy mind for the game. Even when he first started, I think he's like one of the smartest players I've ever like had the pleasure to talk to. So coming out of COVID, I was like, excited to work with him. And, sometimes they carry me because I'm pretty bad at building decks. So these guys are really smart at doing all that stuff.
Who's the best deck builder, Jon or Isaiah?
Isaiah for sure. I think Isaiah is the guy who puts the most work in for sure.
Oh, nice, nice. So there in Twitter, there are a lot of opinions about some ruling in Pokemon. So, and what's your opinion about the slow playing and the new ruling? That is, I think, is much loss.
I think it's good because I think especially, I think it's easier to tell when you're watching a game in like the tables when they're slow playing, because at the tables it's much easier to watch. Like there's judges watching. Like in day 2 of Worlds, for example, I'll put it in perspective. I think every table had 2 or 3 judges per match, which was a little bit intimidating, but I think that's good because that means you can't get away with anything. Everyone's got to play fair. Everyone's got to play clean. But I think it's a little bit more different when it's on stream because there's nerves, there's a lot of anxiety, and like you have a lot of pressure not to mess up. But I do think if slow play is all enforced the same way, like the biggest thing I think needs to be addressed is if you're gonna do it one way, stick to that one way. Like it can't be one ruling this way, one ruling that way. Like make sure it's consistent, and then I think there should be no problems, right?
Yeah. Okay. So they have to be similar to every player.
Yes, I think like every player should have like, you can't go on and say like, let's say Azul gets a certain level of grace and then Tor gets a different like penalty. Like I think it has to be, there's a standard, then it makes it easier because Pokemon can just say, look, this is our rules, this is our standard. Like, if you either agree with it or you don't. Like, this is our rules.
Yeah. So maybe in the next matches we have to take our clock and like stay with a timer to the opponent's turn.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Like chess, something like chess, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I've never had an issue with clocks in my life, but I always like joked about how like the one time it was a problem was when I played Guardy because it felt like I was taking forever because every action was like trade, draw 2, trade, draw 2.
Yeah. So let's moving forward and look at about Stellar Crown. For the next regional, which will be your top 5 decks?
So we're talking next format, right?
Yeah, next format.
I think Charizard seems really good off the bat. I think that deck has got to be pretty insane with Briar. I think Palkia Terrapago seems pretty cool because you have the Noctowl and all those new cool cards. I think Raging Bolt is still really good. I think that deck is like, I don't know why people give it a bad name, but I think it's really consistent. It's really aggressive.
Yes.
And if it draws everything in the right order, it's really hard to beat sometimes. And then I think there's got to be a world where some control deck is really good because I feel like they always keep printing these new control cards. Yes. And someone's going to put it together, something like Alessandro, something like that. Not me. I don't know how to do that. But I'm sure he'll figure out something crazy. And then number 5, let's try out Reggie's. I'm going to try out Reggie's, the new stadium.
Okay.
Bring back my old friend, you know?
Okay, so we have Charizard,
Yep.
Raging Bolt, Palkia, no, Regis, and what's the other?
Control.
Okay, nice. So just for finish, do you have any recommendation for TCG players in this season?
I think this season's weird because everyone is going to be trying to compete for those small spots in every region. Mm-hmm. But I think the biggest thing is try to improve at every tournament you go to. And if you improve and you play well, the finishes will come. Like, if you think about like, I need to finish like this, I need to get this placement, you're going to make yourself worse across the board. But if you put more time into going, okay, this tournament, I made these mistakes, even if it's a League Cup or a League Challenge, that's how you're going to improve the most. And one thing will lead to another, and hopefully you'll get those placements. And at the end of the day, if you did everything you should, you'll be at the World Championships.
Nice. And the last one, I just wrote it now. Do you plan coming to Peru or not?
I'm not planning to, but I would love to come play in a Latin American regionals in general.
Yes.
It's always a fun time. The people are amazing. The food is like my favorite part, I think, above all else. And I know a little bit of Spanish, but not a lot. So
Okay.
like, yo entiendo un poco, pero no me hablas más.
Perfecto. Okay, so that's all with Rahul. Thank you for your time, and I hope we could share some interview in the future.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, thank you, Rahul.